post so much unless it's on YouTube.
What happened 1 million years ago? I am your host, Matias Stefano. In this episode, I am going to walk you through the beginning of human civilizations and what that means for the future of humanity today. Pyramids are the ancient technology, not only from this planet, but also for many of them that are part of the Confederation. In many planets, we used to build these structures because it was a physical way in which we could be connected to the ninth dimensions. What we see now as pyramids is not what you're supposed to see. What you're supposed to see is a sphere. They have 8 dimensions within. The 4th dimension of the pyramids you would see when they move. You should not see triangles. You should see a sphere with many triangles moving and waving around. There's a main reason why in every planet you will find these pyramids buildings like only 4 faces or 3 faces or 5 faces. It's depending on the dimension which you want to connect. The faces you will have, the structure you will create. So these structures, they are not to go to the top. They are not mountains where you go to the sun. They are structures to go within. That's why the chambers are very dark in the core of the pyramid. So you could go within and have the strength of every dimension heading towards the center of the pyramid. When you build these structures around a planet, which is a sphere, you are able to contact the information of every timeline and every space of this network of planets. So you can go to the core of the planet and you can go through every dimension of what this planet means, opening the portals towards every dimension and contact every reality and every information you want to contact. This is like computers from where you download programs, but the programs are not going to the computer itself, but the person is within. The only way you can record this information in a physical way is by water or blood. Water or blood are exactly the same, so water is the only reality that can switch its vibration, its shape, by the information that it's receiving. That's why only jars of water in the middle of the pyramids or a person in the middle of the pyramid are the only ones that can imprint this information from every dimension within, activating it in the DNA or the patterns of the ice, the water. So pyramids around the world are like a big network of computers downloading information from every dimension, so we as humans could have this information towards our own evolution as physical beings, emotional beings, and spiritual beings. All the pyramids in the world are aligned and they work for different kind of constellations. If you see the pyramids of China, the pyramids of Egypt, and the pyramids of Peru, what you will find is that the Earth is reflecting the portals of Pleiades, Orion, and Sirius. If you see the sky, you will find that if you see the 3 stars of Orion's portal, at your left you will have the stars of Sirius. At your right you will find the stars of Pleiades. So when you see this structure and you print it into the earth, you will find China pyramids, Egypt pyramids, and Peruvian pyramids. So the whole planet can hold the frequency of the biggest portal toward the spiritual self in China, towards the biggest portal of every dimension in Egypt, and then in Peru, the order of the being and the order of the confederation. And all this crossing of energy is like the pyramids are aligning themselves, so the energy of the sun always can come inside the planet and keep rolling within to activate the whole machine. We understood that planet was like a ship through time. So there are some people that used to call that the earth is like a ship with no core in the middle, and that was built just to do experiments. But in the past, we understood that nature is the technology of the spirit. So there was no other beings in the universe creating our world. They were just understanding that if this world was allowing life to be here, it was because we were prepared to use this ship through time. Pyramids all over the world are the anthems, the structures for the ninth dimensions, so they could bring you through the times and bring all this energy from the whole solar system to the core of the planet, so the planet itself could become a pyramid, a great octahedron, to create new realities in different times. One million years ago, the Ice Age started. This Ice Age started to cover Europe, America, and Asia, and the whole ocean in the south. At this period of humanity, we were starting to understand who we are as a species. Different way of species in Homo sapiens start to being created around the planet, and that was the moment where the Confederation understood that we as humanity were the ones picked by the evolution of Earth to be the ones that would activate the mechanism of knowledge, the mechanism of thinking of the planet. Every species is a part of the body of the planet, but when some of those species start to activate the memory, to activate the knowledge of itself, and we became like aware of who we are, and we as humans became the neurons of the thoughts of the planet. That means that this planet is going to create this network of 8 dimension in the 3rd dimension. From many other planets, the Confederation start to come to the planet, to Earth, to prepare humanity to be aware of themselves and to give them tools to evolve more faster than they were doing here. Pyramids are the structure or technology that ancient civilizations and alien civilization from this planet used to contact the 9th dimension and to be a creative being connected to the dream of reality. The first ones to come from the stars to this Earth were the ones in planets where it was really cold. The Nemnir were big beings, like tall, very tall, like giants beings, and they used to live into the ice. They used to live in the close by the poles, so they could stand the heat of the planet. So while humans were trying to survive the cold, they were living close by the coolest areas of the planet. So they were kind of protecting the ice, and at that moment, they were the first civilizations from other galaxies or other systems coming here and recording the data of who we are and why we are here into the ice. At the first stages of humanity and the first stages of those civilizations that came from the skies, we had this knowledge that the only thing that can keep information through time was water. Water is the only element that can live through the time and space constantly and never changes. So that's why they recorded all the information through the water, and the best way to put all this information in the planet was through ice. So that's why they came here to record all the knowledge from every civilizations, so we as humans could drink that water and have that information to aware of our purpose on this planet. That is why North Pole and South Pole became like the libraries of the planet, the places where not only naturally it was recorded everything that we've done and everything that we are meant to be, but not only as a species here in this planet, but also as beings around the universe. They started to create this kind of civilizations in the poles where they could protect humanity from other beings, from other levels of consciousness, and by doing this, they start to give humanity the first DNA that moves us towards what we call now Homo sapiens sapiens. It was a very fast evolution in that age. We, humanity, were just hunting and grabbing some fruits around, and from that moment when these civilizations came to Siberia, to Northern Europe, and also in Antarctica, all of them gave us the information so we could know one of the most important things that changed human history forever: storage seeds. They were the agricultures of the galaxy, so they knew how to storage the seeds of DNA. So they taught us how to storage seeds of plants so we could survive during all this ice age. That was the seed of our change as Homo sapiens sapiens. We started for the first time a village, so we started civilizations. After that, all the civilizations that came from the sky were willing to give us some part of the information that they had, not only from within, but also from outside. They gave us tools to build our civilizations. They gave us words to understand themselves. So we start to speak not only the languages from Earth, but also the languages from sky. So they start to split the world so they could teach to different humans and see the reactions of every races that we have here towards that information. 500,000 years ago, the world started to split into 4 species that came from the sky. I used to call the first ones that came here the Sofhir. Sofhir were like humans, but the shape of a reptilian. The reptilian ones were the ones that came here first because they knew how to adapt to a world. So they came to the hottest places in the world, like Africa, like Middle East, like Central America. They also came to Australia and southeast of Asia and all these regions, and they were the first one on going around the whole planet looking for these people to hold the information of the snakes within. And they saw that the only beings that were able to understand the information of the snake were women. So women were the first ones that were taught about the information of the whole universe to become alchemists. They, as reptilians, taught the first priestesses of the planet how to transform reality from the seeds, from the plants, and became shamans. Women were the first shamans of the world, and the snakes taught them how to do that. So after that, women taught men how to understand the world, and then men start to rule the world from that information. That's why the symbol of snakes were the first symbols that every human has honored in the history of humanity, because they saw Sofhir coming from the skies like gods and teaching them the information of the snake. In ancient civilizations, we understood that this snake is around the world. If you just look very deep into the formation of the planet, you can see the snake. It's connected by the highest mountains along every spine cord of the body of the planet. It was the Kundalini around the whole planet, and how they followed the path of the snake so they could understand the information of the whole world. This information of the Sofhir started in Anatolia, Turkey. This is what we call the head of the snake. The head of the snake, where the whole information of the most important knowledge of how to survive in this planet was created. There, in the core of Anatolia, in the core of Turkey, they created this small spot where you could see the eye of the snake. The eye of the snake was a settlement in the middle of Anatolia where everyone would go there to see the snake on the eye, so they could be connected to the whole information of the whole planet. That's why this region there was one of the most important in the world to understand the knowledge of humanity, to understand the knowledge of Safir. After that, you could see the pineal gland, which is close by the Ararat Mount in the border of Armenia. There, in that region, the whole information of the Caucasus was the information of the knowledge itself of the soul of the snake. After that, you have the heart of the snake in Persia. So now Iran and Pakistan, Afghanistan, all this region means the heart of the snake. So it's a place where the next civilizations coming would activate the heart of the information. That's why many people from other places stopped coming to the head and to the tie of the snake, and they went to the heart. That's why the Persian Gulf was so important for the creation of the new humanity. After that, we had the plexus of the snake, which is the Karakorum that we used to know as Tibet. The Karakorum was the region with the Taklamakan desert. There, the humanity learned how to be themselves. After that, the information of the snakes go to Siberia, and at that point in the Baikal Lake and all the region that goes to Chukotka is the region where women were taught how to create the realities. So it is the sacrum chakra. And then after that, we had the root chakra going to Alaska and North America. The root chakra is the part of the Kundalini of the planet, and that's why the whole tie of the snake comes from Alaska, going through the Rocky Mountains, Central America, and ending in the end of the Andes in Tierra del Fuego in southern Argentina and Chile. All this snake that is going through the planet is the highest mountains, and also the ring of fire where the information of the Sofhir was settled during the whole civilizations and the places where humanity took the information from the snake to understand how to transform the reality. So after the Sofhir came the Alithir. The Alithir were the angels of the sea. They protected the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So they were in the islands all around the Pacific Ocean and the Indic Ocean, protecting the knowledge of water. They were the ones that were trying to hold information of water and to transform the DNA of humanity. The Alithir are also known as the Mu civilization. The Mu civilization were the ones that taught humanity how to find the truth in their bloods. Nemnir were the next ones in coming. Nemnir were the giants of the poles. They were protecting the ice, so they were the ones that in every ice age brought this information and hold this information for humanity and for the world. And after them, the Aesir came. The Aesir is the name with which I remember what you used to call the Anunnaki. They were son of the snakes, but they were also part of other planets that were destroyed during the evolution of our systems. So they didn't have this planet anymore where they were used to live, and they came to this planet, to the core of the heart of the snake, which was Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Oman, and all these places of the Middle East where the garden to create humanity was built. This is because it was the heart of the snake, and also because a lot of plateaus, Africa, Middle East, Anatolia, Europe, and Asia, are pressing with all this information geologically towards this tiny region. So all this region has this energy going to the river. This region was the one where all the information of humanity was held through all the snake, and the main pattern of the planet, what was Africa. Africa is, from the very beginning of the planet, the core of the flower of life. So that's why Africa is one of the spots where all the humans and all the living beings were born, because from there life comes out. So that's why all the process of transformation of the planet was held around through the snake, but the core of the flower is in the middle of Africa. If we have the body of the planet, you will see that Egypt is one of the most important places, because the whole energy of the heart chakra, the root chakra, the sacrum, and the plexus are going there. The whole planet, even the poles, they were holding this information, creating this interdimensional information, but they are not important by itself. The pyramids are not the machines that work for itself. They don't work if we don't go in, if we are not aligned with our own pyramids. And that's why many of them aren't working. They are like very old technology. They are like dead in most of the cases. So this happened because we didn't have a maintenance on them, but the most important thing is because we didn't have a maintenance of ourselves. The only way you can upload or download information from a pyramid is if you are able to handle that. And that's why we need to understand that there are pyramids all around the world, but until we don't activate our own pyramids within, our own octahedron, our own power from the heart, our own chamber inside, if we don't find the darkness of the void in the ninth dimension within, we are not going to be able to get into the information that goes through those pyramids around the world. That's why it's good to know where they are. It's good to know about the structure they have, the histories that they have, which were very different from each other. But the most important thing that they have to teach about themselves is that they reflected in the architectural way what we have within. So in order to activate every pyramid in the world and become again like the mirror towards the unity, you have first to become your own pyramid. And that's the goal for the future of humanity. We need to become our own technology, to be aligned to the self, to go through every dimension. And then after that, when we realize who we are, we can go to the pyramids and we can get in the pyramids and saying the most important verb in the universe, we can bring all the information from every dimension inside. The most important verb in the universe is when you realize who you are. So when you say, I am, farther than your personality, farther than your body, than your soul, than your spirit. When you realize that the three of them are just the essence of who you really are. When you get into the chamber of a pyramid and you say, I am the real I am, so you connect the whole network of the eighth dimension here on the three-dimensional world. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I am your host and guide, Matias Stefano, for this series on the creation of the universe.